Hi YouTube, welcome to another edition of HorrorHands, and for this video I'm going to be talking about Cannibal Ferox. So I thought I'd venture down the Italian cannibal genre and gave this one another watch. This is probably my favourite movie of this genre, either this one or Eaten Alive. But it's a very niche genre, not for everybody, but if you've got a strong stomach and you're not easily upset by these kind of movies, there is things to enjoy from them. So this one is about a woman who travels to the Amazon with her friend and her brother, and she's going there to kind of disprove cannibalism. She thinks it's just a myth that's been made up and it doesn't exist. And of course she finds out in the worst way that it does exist. The trouble starts when they run into a couple of guys who claim that they have been attacked by a cannibal tribe. But it turns out that these two guys are actually a couple of sort of drug-dealing lowlives, and they were actually the ones that were hostile and tortured and killed a few cannibals along the way. So in turn the cannibal tribe is looking for revenge, and they all sort of get embroiled in this story, and it leads to a number of really gruesome torture and death scenes of these white outside characters. So it is very unpleasant, but I do like this movie because it has more of an adventure feel to it. It's got a really good sort of pacing to the story, and whereas a lot of them they are kind of weak in the story aspect, this one does kind of hold its own enough to keep it entertaining and to keep the plot moving along amidst all the scenes of goriness and killing and things like that. The characters are pretty good as well. The bad guy drug dealers are pretty good. They're pretty believable, and I actually was kind of rooting for the good guys as well. You do sort of feel for them a little bit, which is not always the case in these movies, so that's pretty good as well. Now you can't really talk about this movie without touching on what is an unfortunate tradition in these movies, which is the real life killing of animals, which seems to take place in all of these cannibal movies. I personally really don't like it. I don't like to see it. It's very hard to watch and kind of unnecessary as well. It is an interesting talking point because I've spoke to numerous people about these movies over the years, and there's a lot of people who kind of agree with me and really don't like to see these scenes. But then I've spoken to people who actually think that they're a kind of essential part of these movies, and they really sort of help in terms of the realism and the shock factor, which I kind of agree with. But yeah, they are very hard to watch. I think you have to, if you're going to watch these kind of movies, you have to prepare yourself for the real unpleasant animal cruelty that goes on in these movies. And in recent years, directors have come out of the woodwork and said that they regret doing these scenes, but I don't know. They were happy to do them multiple times in these movies. So, call me cynical, but I don't know how much of that is a PR thing. But like I say, despite the horrible things that go on in this movie, I do enjoy it. I do find it one of the more entertaining ones, and it's rather well made for what it is. You've got to give these directors credit. They went into the Amazon jungle with very little money, very little resources, and they made these movies, and some of them are pretty good movies. So I respect what they did with the conditions and the resources that they had. So yeah, in terms of the Italian cannibal genre, I think guys out there, you're a fan of these movies or you're not. I do like the genre, and as I say, this one is one of my favourites. And yeah, I think in a way these movies are quite important to the general landscape of cinema, because you just don't get these films anymore. This kind of filmmaking is long gone, and we live in an age of very safe filmmaking where these movies just would never ever get made ever again. So in a strange way, I think they are important and should be kind of preserved and recognised for what they are. But yeah, very, very kind of nasty stuff, very unpleasant scenes in this film, but a good movie and one that I enjoy and a solid entry into the Italian cannibal genre. So if you are a fan of that genre, definitely check this one out. If it's a genre that you're curious about, I would say just be prepared for some very nasty scenes. Be prepared for some quite upsetting animal cruelty, but like I say, there is some artistic merit, I think, in these movies. So if you've seen this one, let me know what you think. Thank you very much for watching, and stay tuned for more videos.